The alarm screamed through the bridge of the silent horizon. Captain Do-yun looked up from his daily reports, his forearms moving quickly across the control panels. His blue scales caught the light from the view screen as he studied the reading in front of him. "What is it?" he asked. Yuna, his first officer, was already running scans. Her fingers danced over her station with practiced ease. "There's something out there, Captain. In the asteroid field. It's small. Maybe a pod or debris." Do-yun leaned forward in his chair. Space was full of junk and broken ships. Most of it wasn't worth the fuel to investigate. But something about this reading felt different. Life signs? Yuna's face showed surprise. "Yes. Faint, but they're there. Whatever it is, someone's alive inside." The bridge went quiet. They were 3 weeks from the nearest station, flying a route that most traders avoided. Finding someone out here was like finding water in a desert. "It shouldn't happen. Bring us closer," Do-yun ordered. "Carefully. I don't want to hit anything." The silent horizon was not a warship. She was a merchant vessel, old but reliable. Her shields were basic and her weapons were meant for scaring off small pirates. Nothing more. But she had a good crew and a cargo hold that could fit an escape pod. As they moved through the asteroid field, the object came into view. It was definitely an escape pod. But unlike any Do-yun had seen before, the metal was strange, darker than normal. The design was simple, almost primitive. No symbols or markings showed what species it came from. "I don't recognize it," Yuna said. She sounded worried. "It's not in any database. Not Velkorian, not Krenth, not even Soruvian." Do-yun thought about this. Unknown could mean danger. Unknown could mean trouble. But unknown also meant someone needed help. And they had no one else. "Get Hana to the medical bay. Tell her we're bringing someone aboard." "Captain," Yuna turned to face him. "We don't know what's in there. It could be dangerous. It could be infected with something. We should at least call for help first. By the time help arrives, whoever is in there will be dead," Do-yun said firmly. "Bring it aboard." By reference, the recovery took an hour. The pod was damaged badly, its hull scarred with blast marks. Someone had shot at it. Do-yun felt anger rise in his chest. Pirates. Probably. They attacked and didn't care who they hurt. In the medical bay, Hana waited with her equipment ready. She was the best medical officer Do-yun had ever worked with, calm and smart. When the pod finally opened with a hiss of escaping air, even she stepped back in surprise. The being inside was small compared to them. It had only 2 arms and 2 legs. Its skin was pale, almost pink, and covered in strange markings that might have been scars or tattoos. Hair grew from its head in dark strands. The face was flat with 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Simple. Almost too simple. "What is it?" Hana whispered. "I don't know," Do-yun replied. "But it's dying. Help it." Hana moved fast. Her scanners revealed things that made no sense. The being had bones that were incredibly dense, much stronger than they should be for its size. Its muscles were packed with more fibers than normal. It had redundant organs, backup systems that most species didn't have. The heart alone was a powerful pump that seemed designed for high gravity. "This creature is built for survival," Hana said as she worked. "Look at this cellular structure. It can heal damage faster than anything I've seen. But it's been without proper air for too long. I'm not sure what it breathes." She tried different atmosphere mixtures until finally, the being's chest started moving more steadily. Color returned to its face. After 2 hours of work, Hana stepped back, exhausted. "Will it live?" Do-yun asked. "I think so, but I don't know when it will wake up." The answer came 3 days later. Do-yun was in his quarters when the call came. He rushed to medical bay to find Hana standing near the bed. The being was awake, sitting up, looking around with obvious confusion and fear. When it saw Do-yun enter with his 4 arms and blue scales, its eyes went wide. But then it did something unexpected. It smiled. The expression was small and tired, but genuine. "Thank you," it said. The words came through the ship's translation matrix, proving the being was intelligent and could communicate. Doyun moved closer, slowly, keeping his posture relaxed. "You're safe now," he said. "I'm Captain Doyun. This is my ship, the Silent Horizon. What's your name?" The being looked at each of them carefully before answering. "My name is Jiho. I'm human. From Earth." "Earth?" Yuna checked her datapad. "There's no planet called Earth in the registry." Jiho's face showed sadness. "We're far from the known systems. My people haven't made contact with others yet. I was part of a science mission. We were studying a nebula when raiders attacked us. They destroyed my ship. I barely made it to the escape pod." "How long were you out there?" Hana asked. 3 weeks, maybe more. I lost track." Jiho's voice shook a little. "I thought I was going to die. The pod was damaged. Life support was failing. Then you found me." Doyun felt the weight of that statement. 3 weeks alone, in a broken pod, floating in space, waiting for death. He couldn't imagine the fear. "We'll help you get home," Doyun promised. "Where is Earth? Can you show us?" Jiho nodded, and Yuna brought over a star map. The human studied it for a long moment, then pointed to a region marked as empty space. "There. That's my home system. That area was surveyed 200 years ago," Yuna said. "The report said it was empty. No habitable worlds. The survey was wrong," Jiho said simply. "Earth is there. My people are there. And they're probably looking for me." "Well, here, Jiho 7D. Jiho 7D. Well, here, Jiho 7D. Jiho 7D. Jiho said simply. Something in the way Jiho said that last part made Doyun pause. There was a tone there. Something that might have been worry or warning. But the human looked so tired and grateful that Doyun decided not to push. "Rest now," he said. "We'll figure out how to get you home. You're safe here." Jiho smiled again, this time with relief. "Thank you, Captain. You saved my life. I won't forget that. And neither will my people." As Doyun left the medical bay, those words stayed with him. "Neither will my people." It sounded like a promise. He had no way of knowing it was also a warning. In the darkness of space, Earth had already begun searching for their lost scientist. And when Earth searched for its own, nothing in the galaxy could stop them from bringing them home. 2 days passed quietly on the Silent Horizon. Jiho recovered quickly, faster than Hana expected. The human walked around the ship with Doyun, asking questions about everything. He was curious and friendly, and the crew began to like him. But there was something in his eyes, a worry that he tried to hide. Everything changed when Yuna called an emergency meeting. "Captain, you need to see this," she said, her voice tight with tension. The bridge crew gathered around the main screen. Yuna played a message that was broadcasting across multiple frequencies. In hundreds of languages, the voice was calm but carried an edge that made Doyun's scales prickle. "This is the Earth vessel Remembrance. We are searching for our citizen, Jiho Park. He was lost 3 weeks ago when his research ship was attacked. Any information about his location will be greatly rewarded. Any harm done to him will be answered with appropriate force. We ask for cooperation from all who hear this message." 210. The message repeated. Doyun looked at Jiho, who had gone very pale. "That's your people," Doyun said. It wasn't a question. "Yes," Jiho said quietly. "They're looking for me." "That's good news," Hana said with a smile. "We can contact them and arrange to return you." But Jiho didn't look happy. He looked scared. "You don't understand. When my people say they'll answer with appropriate force, they mean it. You need to contact them right away and tell them I'm safe. Please." Yuna was already trying. "Their encryption is strange, very advanced. I can't break through to send a direct message. I'll keep trying." Over the next few hours, more messages came through. But these weren't from Earth ships. These were from the Galactic Coalition Emergency Network. Doyun listened, with growing shock. Attention all vessels. Unknown warships have entered Coalition space. They claim to be from a planet called Earth. 3 pirate outposts in the Outer Rim have been destroyed, total casualties estimated at 15,000. The attackers left no survivors. 15,000. Doyun felt sick. Yes, pirates were criminals, but total destruction? No negotiations? No arrests? Another message followed. Coalition forces have made contact with Earth vessels. The humans have provided evidence that the destroyed outposts were responsible for attacking their science ship. They claim this was justice, not aggression. Coalition Command is investigating. Jiho sat down heavily, his head in his hands. I told you. My people protect their own. Those pirates hurt me. Killed my crew. Earth won't let that go unanswered. But 15,000 dead, Yuna said, her voice shaking. That's not justice. That's revenge. To my people, it's the same thing. Jiho said. I didn't want this. I just wanted to go home. But now. He stopped, unable to finish. More reports came in over the following days. The Earth fleet wasn't stopping. They had over 300 ships, all heavily armed. They moved through space with purpose, scanning every station, every vessel they encountered. They were following the trail of Jiho's escape pod, and they were getting closer. The coalition convened an emergency session. Ambassador Taeyang, a respected diplomat from the Krenth people, was chosen to make first contact. Doyun watched the broadcast with his crew. Taeyang appeared on screen, his 6 eyes blinking in a pattern that showed respect and peace. Behind him stood representatives from a dozen species. We greet the people of Earth. We welcome you to the Galactic Coalition. We understand you are searching for your citizen. We wish to help you find him and return him safely. The response from Earth was short and cold. A woman appeared on screen, wearing a dark uniform with symbols of rank. Her face was hard, her eyes sharp. I am Admiral Minji of the Earth Defense Fleet. We appreciate your words, Ambassador. But words won't bring our citizen home. We will continue our search. We ask that you not interfere. If you have information about Jiho Park, provide it. If you don't, stay out of our way. The transmission ended. Taeyang looked shaken. In all his years as a diplomat, no one had spoken to the coalition like that. On the silent horizon, Jiho stood and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. I'm sorry, he said. This is my fault. I should have died in that pod. Then, none of this would have happened. Doyun put one of his hands on the human's shoulder. Don't say that. You deserve to be saved. Any being deserves that. But now your whole galaxy is at risk because of me, Jiho said. My people won't stop. They'll tear apart every ship, every station, until they find me. And if anyone tries to stop them, there will be war. Yuna was reading more reports. Her face showed fear. Captain, you need to see this. The Coalition Science Division analyzed Earth ships. They also accessed something called Earth's Historical Database. The humans uploaded it as a gesture of transparency. Quote, she put the data on the main screen. Doyun read it and felt his blood run cold. Earth was classified as a Class 12 hazard world. The gravity was nearly twice what most coalition species considered normal. The weather included massive storms that could destroy cities. The oceans were deep and filled with predators. Diseases and parasites were everywhere. Most coalition species would need protective suits just to survive on the surface. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was Earth's history. The humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They had developed weapons capable of destroying their entire planet. Nuclear bombs, biological warfare, chemical agents. They had nearly wiped themselves out multiple times, and they had chosen to stop. At the last moment, again and again, They had chosen survival over destruction. They know how to show restraint, Hana said quietly. But only when they choose to. Do-yoon understood. The humans were like a great beast that had learned to be gentle. But if that choice was taken away, if someone pushed them too far, that restraint would disappear, and nothing would stop them. We need to contact Earth directly, Do-yoon said. We need to tell them we have Jiho, and that he's safe. I've been trying, Yuna said, but their encryption is too strong. I can't get through. Jiho moved to the communication station. Let me try. I know Earth's codes. He worked for several minutes, his fingers moving quickly. Finally, a connection opened. A woman's face appeared on screen. She looked like Jiho. Same eyes, same shape of face. When she saw him, she gasped. Jiho. Oh, thank the stars. You're alive. Tears ran down her face. I'm alive, Nari, Jiho said. His own eyes were wet. These people saved me. I'm safe. Please. You have to tell the fleet to stand down. There's no need for all this. Nari shook her head. We're coming for you, little brother. Just hold on. We'll bring you home. Nari, please listen, Jiho started, but she cut the transmission. The silence on the bridge was heavy. Do-yoon made a decision. Set course for Earth's fleet. We'll deliver Jiho ourselves. Captain, Yuna said carefully. The coalition has issued new orders. No ship is to make contact with Earth vessels without authorization. They're afraid of what it might mean. I don't care, Do-yoon said firmly. We're going to return Jiho before this becomes a war. But even as he gave the order, he knew it might already be too late. Earth had shown its strength. The coalition had shown its fear, and caught between them was one small merchant ship, trying to prevent the galaxy from tearing itself apart over one rescued human. The Galactic Coalition Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 50 species shouted at each other, their translators struggling to keep up. Ambassador Taeyang stood at the center, trying to restore order. Please, everyone must calm down, he said, his voice amplified across the chamber. We need to discuss this rationally. Rationally? A Krenth counselor slammed his appendage on the desk. 300 warships have entered our space without permission. They destroyed 15,000 beings without trial. What is there to discuss rationally? They were pirates. Another voice called out. Criminals who attacked a science vessel. Earth was defending its citizen. The punishment doesn't match the crime, someone else argued. This shows Earth has no respect for coalition law. For justice. They're barbarians. Taeyang raised his hands for silence. When the chamber finally quieted, he activated the main display. I have analyzed the information Earth provided about their world and history. What I found is both fascinating and terrifying. The display showed Earth spinning in space. It looked beautiful. Blue and green and white. But appearances were deceiving. Earth is what we classify as a death world, Taeyang explained. The gravity is 1.8 times standard. The atmosphere has high oxygen content that would be toxic to many of us. The surface temperature varies wildly, from freezing cold to burning hot. Storms can reach wind speeds that would tear apart our standard structures. Images appeared showing massive hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods. The council watched in silence. The oceans cover 70% of the planet and reach depths of 11,000 meters. They contain predators that can grow to enormous sizes. The land has similar dangers. Everything on Earth is designed to survive in harsh conditions, including humans. More images showed Earth's wildlife. Creatures with massive teeth and claws. Tiny organisms that could kill with poison. Plants that could digest flesh. The council members shifted uncomfortably. But the most concerning aspect is Earth's history, Taeyang continued. Humans have been at war for their entire recorded history. They have fought each other for territory, resources, beliefs, and sometimes for no clear reason at all. They developed weapons of terrible power. The display showed mushroom clouds rising over cities. Taeyang explained nuclear weapons, how they could level entire cities in seconds. He explained biological weapons that could wipe out populations, chemical weapons that caused suffering beyond imagination. They nearly destroyed themselves multiple times, Taeyang said. But each time, at the very last moment, they chose to step back. They chose to survive rather than destroy. This shows incredible restraint, or incredible danger, a counselor said. A species that knows how to destroy itself and chooses not to is one decision away from catastrophe. What if they point those weapons at us? Quote, "That is my concern," Taeyang agreed. Humans understand violence at a level we don't. They have military tactics and strategies developed over 10,000 years. Every human child learns about war as part of their education. It's in their culture, their stories, their identity. "So what do we do?" asked the council leader. "Do we fight them? Surrender? What are our options?" Taeyang was quiet for a moment. "I don't think we can fight them. Their technology is different from ours. Less elegant, more brutal, but very effective. Our analysts estimate that in a direct conflict, Earth's 300 ships could hold off our entire fleet." Shocked silence filled the chamber. "However," Taeyang continued, "I don't believe they want war. They want their citizen back. Once they have him, I think they will be willing to negotiate. The question is, how do we make that happen without appearing weak?" While the council debated, the silent horizon raced through space. Doyun had pushed the engines beyond their normal limits. Every hour counted. "Captain, we're receiving messages," Yuna reported. "Coalition Command is ordering us to stop. They say we're not authorized to make contact with Earth vessels." "Ignore them," Doyun said. "Captain, they're threatening to arrest us." "They can try." Doyun's jaw was set. "But first, they'll have to catch us." In the medical bay, Hana was running more tests on Jiho. The human sat patiently while she worked. "Your biology is amazing," Hana said. "Your bones are so dense they could survive impacts that would shatter mine. Your muscles have redundant systems. Even your blood can carry more oxygen than normal. You're built for a hard world." Jiho smiled sadly. "Earth isn't kind. It teaches you to be strong, or you don't survive. But it also teaches you something else." "What's that?" "That you need others. Humans survived because we worked together. We protected each other. That's why my people are doing this. Not because I'm special, but because I'm one of them. They would do the same for anyone, even if it starts a war?" Jiho looked down at his hands. "Yes. Even then. That probably sounds crazy to you." Hana thought about it. "Actually, I'm starting to understand. Your people love fiercely. They protect completely. There's honor in that." On the bridge, Yuna suddenly straightened. "Captain, I'm detecting ships ahead. A lot of ships." The view screen showed what she meant. Dozens of coalition military vessels were forming a blockade. They were positioned directly in the silent horizon's path. "They're hailing us," Yuna said. A face appeared on screen. Admiral Hyun, of the coalition fleet. He was a veteran, his scales scarred from old battles. "Captain Doyun, you are ordered to stop your ship immediately. You are not authorized to contact Earth vessels. This is your only warning." Doyun stood and faced the screen. "Admiral, with respect, I'm trying to prevent a war. I have the human they're searching for. He's safe and I'm returning him. Once Earth has their citizen back, they'll leave peacefully." "You don't know that," Hyun said. "Earth could demand anything. They could demand territory, resources, technology. We can't show weakness." "This isn't about weakness," Doyun argued. "This is about doing what's right. A being was in danger, and we helped him. His people came looking for him. That's natural, that's good. Why are we making this into a conflict?" "Because they brought 300 warships into our space," Hyun snapped. "Because they destroyed outposts without permission. Because they refuse to follow our laws. Now stand down, Captain. That's an order. Do-yoon looked at his crew. Yuna was scared but determined. Hana had come to the bridge with Jiho, both of them watching with worried faces. This was the moment. He could obey and maybe start a war, or he could disobey and maybe prevent one. I'm sorry, Admiral, Do-yoon said, but I can't do that. He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. All power to engines. Get us through that blockade. Captain, they'll shoot at us, Yuna warned. No, they won't, Do-yoon said, because if they damage this ship and Jiho gets hurt, Earth will consider it an act of war. Hyun knows that. The silent horizon accelerated toward the blockade. Warning shots fired across their bow. Brilliant energy beams that lit up space. But none hit them directly. They pushed through the line of coalition ships and kept going. Behind them, the blockade broke formation and gave chase. How long until we reach Earth's fleet? Do-yoon asked. At this speed, 6 hours, Yuna reported. But the coalition ships will catch us in 4. Jiho stepped forward. Let me send a message to my people. Let me tell them we're coming. Maybe they can help. Do-yoon nodded. Do it. Do it. Jiho worked quickly at the communications station. His fingers flew across the controls as he encrypted a message and sent it on Earth's frequency. Then, they waited. The response came 30 minutes later. Nari's voice filled the bridge, strong and clear. We hear you, Jiho. We're coming. Hold on just a little longer. Earth is coming for you. And in the distance, sensors detected massive energy signatures. The Earth fleet was changing course, moving at incredible speed. They were coming to meet the silent horizon. Behind them, the coalition fleet detected it too. Both forces were converging on the same point in space. In a few hours, Earth and the Galactic Coalition would meet face to face, and one small merchant ship would be caught right in the middle. The space between the two fleets was silent and dark. On one side, 300 Earth warships hung in formation, their weapons charged and ready. On the other side, nearly 1,000 coalition vessels formed their own wall of power. Between them, small and alone, the silent horizon drifted to a stop. Inside the merchant ship, Do-yoon watched both fleets on his view screen. His hearts were beating fast. One wrong move and millions would die. Maybe billions. Captain, Yuna's voice was barely a whisper. What do we do? Do-yoon didn't answer right away. He looked at Jiho, who stood near the communications station. The human's face was pale but calm. He had caused this without meaning to. Now he was trying to figure out how to fix it. Open a channel, Do-yoon said. To both fleets. Let everyone hear this. Yuna worked her controls. Channel open, Captain. Do-yoon stood straight, all 4 arms at his sides. This is Captain Do-yoon, of the merchant vessel Silent Horizon. I speak to both Earth and the Galactic Coalition. I have something you both need to hear. On the Earth flagship, Admiral Minji sat in her command chair. Her face was hard as stone. Around her, officers monitored weapon systems and shields. They were ready for war. This is Admiral Minji. We're listening. Captain. From the Coalition fleet, Admiral Hyun's voice came through. This is Admiral Hyun. You're in the middle of a very dangerous situation, Captain. Choose your words carefully. Do-yoon took a breath. 3 weeks ago, my crew found an escape pod drifting in an asteroid field. Inside was a being unlike any we had seen before. He was dying. We brought him aboard and saved his life. His name is Jiho Park. He is human. He is from Earth. Minji leaned forward. Her eyes were intense. Where is he? Is he alive? Has he been harmed? He's here. He's safe. He's been treated with nothing but kindness. Do-yoon said. My medical officer, Hana, worked for hours to save him. My crew shared our food and quarters with him. We became friends, and now I'm bringing him home. Then why did you run from the coalition fleet? Hyun demanded. Because I feared what would happen if this became about politics instead of people, Do-yoon answered. Jiho is not a bargaining chip. He's not a tool for power. He's a person who was in trouble and needed help. That's all this should be about. Jiho stepped forward. May I speak, Captain? Do-yoon nodded. Jiho took the communication panel. Admiral Minji, this is Jiho. I'm alive because Captain Do-yoon and his crew risked their ship to save me. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what it would mean. They just saw someone who needed help and they gave it. That's the kind of people they are. Minji's face softened just a little. We've been searching for you for weeks, Jiho. When we found what those pirates did to your ship, when we found your crew dead, we thought we'd lost you too. I know, Jiho said quietly. I know what you did to those pirates. I know you destroyed them. But Admiral, the Coalition didn't do that. These people didn't do that. They saved me. Please don't punish them for the crimes of others. There was silence. Then Minji spoke again. Captain Do-yoon, transfer Jiho to our ship. Once he's safely aboard, we'll leave Coalition space. You have my word. No. Hyun interrupted. We can't allow that. Earth has violated our laws. Destroyed Coalition citizens without trial. They must face consequences. Consequences? Minji's voice turned cold. You want to talk about consequences? Your pirates attacked a science vessel. They killed 15 people. They left my citizen to die in space. And you want to lecture us about consequences? Those pirates were criminals, Hyun shot back. They weren't acting for the Coalition. You attacked legitimate outposts that happened to house criminals. You killed thousands who were not involved. Everyone in those outposts was involved, Minji said flatly. They all knew. They all benefited. They all paid the price. The tension ratcheted higher. Do-yoon could see weapon systems powering up on both sides. This was spinning out of control. Stop! He shouted into the communication channel. Both of you, stop and listen to me. Surprisingly, both admirals went quiet. Do-yoon chose his words carefully. Admiral Hyun, I understand your concern. Earth entered our space with overwhelming force. They acted without permission. It's frightening, but think about why they did it. If one of your people was lost, if they were in danger, wouldn't you move the entire fleet to find them? Isn't that loyalty something to respect? He turned his attention to the other fleet. Admiral Minji, I understand your anger. Someone hurt one of yours and you made them pay. But the Coalition isn't your enemy. They're scared because they don't know you yet. They don't understand that your strength comes from caring, not from cruelty. Show them who Earth really is. You don't understand what you're asking, Minji said. If we back down now, we look weak. Every pirate, every criminal in this galaxy will think they can attack humans without consequence. You won't look weak, Do-yoon insisted. You'll look wise. You'll look like a people who know when to fight and when to make peace. That's harder than just fighting. That takes more strength. Jiho spoke again. Admiral, my sister Nari is on your ship. Let me talk to her, please. After a moment, a new face appeared on the screen next to Minji. It was the woman from the earlier transmission. Jiho's sister. Her eyes were red from crying. Jiho, she breathed. Nari, I'm okay. I'm really okay, Jiho said. But I need you to trust me now. These people are good. They're not our enemies. If we start a war here, over me, I'll never forgive myself. Please, let's go home peacefully. Nari looked at her brother for a long moment. Then she turned to Minji. Admiral, he's right. We found him. He's safe. That's what we came for. Let's take him home. Minji was quiet. Do-yoon could see her thinking, weighing options. Finally, she spoke. Captain Do-yoon, bring your ship alongside our flagship. Transfer Jiho to us. Once he's aboard, Earth will withdraw from Coalition space. And after? Hyun asked. Will you return? Will you respect our borders? That depends, Minji said. Are you willing to talk? Really talk? Because Earth wants peace. But we also want justice. We want to make sure our people are safe when they travel in your space. Hyun was silent for a long time. Then he sighed. Ambassador Taeyong has been asking for a proper first contact meeting. I suppose this is as good a time as any. Will you meet with us? Discuss terms? We'll meet. Minji agreed. But know this. Earth protects its own. That's not negotiable. If you can accept that, we can find peace. The coalition also protects its citizens, Hyun said. Perhaps we have more in common than we thought. Do-yoon felt relief wash over him. It wasn't perfect. There would be difficult negotiations ahead. But it was a start. The silent horizon moved slowly toward the Earth flagship. As they approached, Do-yoon could see the ship up close for the first time. It was massive, covered in weapons and armor. But it was also beautiful in a harsh way. Built for function and survival. Preparing for docking, Yuna said. Jiho turned to Do-yoon and extended his hand. It was a human gesture that Do-yoon had learned. He took the small hand in one of his larger ones, and they shook. Thank you, Jiho said. For everything. You saved my life. You saved my people from making a terrible mistake. I won't forget. Neither will I, Do-yoon replied. Go home, Jiho. Be with your family. The docking completed. Jiho walked to the airlock. Before he left, he looked back one more time at the crew that had saved him. Do-yoon, Yuna, and Hana stood together, watching. Then the airlock opened and Jiho stepped through into the Earthship. The door sealed behind him. On the view screen, Do-yoon watched as Jiho was reunited with his sister. They embraced, both crying. Other humans surrounded them, celebrating. Admiral Minji's face appeared on screen one last time. Captain Do-yoon. Earth remembers its friends. You helped one of ours when no one else would. We don't forget things like that. The Earth fleet began to move, turning away from coalition space. But it was a controlled withdrawal, organized and proud. They weren't fleeing. They were choosing to leave. The coalition fleet watched them go. No shots were fired. No threats were made. Two groups of people who could have destroyed each other had chosen something else. They had chosen to try. 3 months had passed since what everyone now called the Jiho incident. The galaxy had changed in those months, in ways both small and large. Captain Do-yoon stood in the landing bay of Earth's orbital station, looking down at the planet below. From space, Earth looked beautiful. The blue oceans sparkled in the sunlight. White clouds swirled across the surface. Green and brown landmasses showed where continents rose from the seas. It was hard to believe such a lovely world was also one of the most dangerous in the known galaxy. Captain, they're ready for you, Yuna said. She stood beside him, along with Hana. All three had been invited to Earth as honored guests. The invitation had come from Jiho himself, supported by Earth's government. How do you feel? Do-yoon asked his crew. Nervous, Hana admitted. Everything I've read about Earth says it should be impossible for us to survive there. The gravity alone could kill us. They've made accommodations, Yuna assured her. Special suits to help with the gravity. Breathing apparatus. We'll be safe. Safe on a planet with hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, and predators that could eat us in one bite, Hana muttered. Sure, safe. Despite her words, she was smiling. They were all excited, if a bit scared. They were among the first non-humans to visit Earth. This was history. The shuttle ride down to the surface was smooth. As they descended through the atmosphere, Do-yoon watched the land grow closer. Cities sprawled across the landscape. Much larger than he expected. Millions of humans lived down there, maybe billions. When they landed, the gravity hit them immediately. Even with their special suits helping, Do-yoon felt heavy. Each step took effort. His crew looked uncomfortable, but determined. Jiho was waiting for them at the landing pad. Behind him stood his sister Nari and several other humans in formal clothing. When Jiho saw them, his face broke into a huge smile. Welcome to Earth, he said, shaking hands with each of them. I know it's not comfortable for you here. Thank you for coming, anyway. We wouldn't miss it, Do-yoon said. How have you been? Good. Really good. Being home, seeing my family, getting back to my research. It's everything I hoped for during those weeks in the pod. Jiho's expression turned serious. I owe you my life, Captain. All of you. I can never repay that. You don't need to, Do-yoon said simply. We did what anyone should do. They were taken to a building that humans called the Peace Hall. Inside, the gravity was adjusted to be more comfortable for visitors. Do-yoon felt relief as the weight lifted slightly. Around them, humans and aliens from various coalition species mingled. This was the first joint summit between Earth and the Galactic Coalition. Ambassador Taeyang found them in the crowd. Captain Do-yoon, I hoped you would be here. Come. There's someone who wants to meet you. He led them to a quieter room where Admiral Minji waited. She was wearing a formal uniform, her medals catching the light. When she saw Do-yoon, she stood and bowed slightly. Captain Do-yoon, I wanted to thank you personally, she said. You brought Jiho home. You also prevented a war that would have cost millions of lives. Earth is in your debt. I just did what was right, Do-yoon said, uncomfortable with the praise. That's exactly why it matters, Minji replied. In a moment of crisis, you chose compassion over fear. You chose to help rather than to protect yourself. That took courage. Taeyang spoke up. The summit has been productive. Earth and the coalition have reached several important agreements. We're establishing trade relationships, cultural exchanges, and joint research projects. But the most important agreement is the one I wanted to tell you about personally. He pulled up a holographic document. The Mutual Protection Accord. Any coalition member who signs it agrees to protect Earth's citizens as their own. In return, Earth extends the same protection to that member's citizens. It's based on the principle you demonstrated, Captain, that we should care for each other. Do-yoon read the document carefully. It was well written, fair to both sides. Who has signed? 40 species so far, Taeyang said proudly. Including the Velkorian people. Your homeworld was one of the first to agree. Hana looked surprised. Our government signed a military alliance with Earth? It's more than military, Minji explained. It's a promise. If one of your people is in trouble, Earth will help. If one of ours needs aid, you'll provide it. It's about building trust. Over the next few days, Do-yoon and his crew experienced Earth in controlled conditions. They visited museums, showing human history, and were shocked by the violence they saw. Wars, conquests, terrible weapons. But they also saw art, music, literature. They saw humans helping each other, sacrificing for strangers, building beautiful things. Your people are complicated, Hana said to Jiho, as they toured a science facility, capable of great destruction and great kindness. That's true of all people, isn't it? Jiho replied. We just maybe show it more obviously. Earth taught us to be survivors. But it also taught us that we survive better together. The visit culminated in a state dinner. Hundreds of beings from dozens of species gathered in a massive hall. Do-yoon found himself sitting at a table with Jiho, Nari, Taeyang, and several human officials. During the dinner, Earth's leader stood to speak. She talked about the importance of the new relationships being formed. She talked about the future, when Earth and the coalition would work together to explore the galaxy. Then she did something unexpected. She called Do-yoon to the front of the room. Nervous, Do-yoon walked up. The room fell silent. Captain Do-yoon, the leader said. You saved one of our citizens when you had no obligation to do so. You risked your ship and your crew to bring him home. You stood between two fleets and spoke for peace. For these actions, Earth wishes to honor you. She presented him with a medal. A circle of metal with Earth's image on it. This is the Star of Valor. It's the highest honor we can give to a non-human. It means that Earth considers you a friend, always. The room erupted in applause. Do-yoon felt his face flush with embarrassment and pride. He accepted the medal with all four hands and bowed. Later, when the dinner had ended and the guests were mingling, Do-yoon stood on a balcony, looking at Earth's night sky. The stars were different than from his homeworld. but they were beautiful. Yuna joined him. Quite a day, Captain. Quite a 3 months, Do-yoon corrected. Who would have thought that one rescue would lead to all this? Do you regret it? The complications, the danger, the stress. Do-yoon thought about the question. He thought about finding Jiho's pod, about the fear when Earth's fleet arrived, about the tense moment between two armed forces, about everything that could have gone wrong. No, he said finally. I don't regret any of it. Because it was the right thing to do. And look what came from it. New friendships. New alliances. A safer galaxy for everyone. Yuna smiled. The crew has been talking. They want to put a new motto on the ship. Something about helping those in need, no matter the cost. I like that, Do-yoon said. A few weeks later, back on the silent horizon, Do-yoon prepared for their next cargo run. The ship had a new marking on its hull now, a symbol that showed it was protected under the Mutual Protection Accord. Earth and the Coalition both recognized that symbol. As they prepared to leave port, a message came through. It was from Admiral Minji. Captain Do-yoon, we just received a distress call from a Valkorian colony under attack by raiders. We're the closest fleet. We're responding now. Thought you'd want to know. Earth doesn't forget its friends. Do-yoon smiled and sent a reply. Thank you, Admiral. That's good to hear. He turned to his crew. Set course for our next delivery. And keep the scanners active. If anyone needs help, we're going to provide it. Even if it causes complications? Yuna asked with a knowing look. Especially then, Do-yoon said, because that's what friends do. The silent horizon pulled away from the station and jumped into faster-than-light travel. Behind them, Earth's fleet was already moving to protect a colony of people they had never met, simply because those people were allied with someone who had helped them. The galaxy was changing. It was becoming a place where loyalty mattered, where protecting each other mattered, where one act of kindness could start a chain reaction that made everyone safer, all because one captain decided that saving a life was more important than avoiding trouble, and in the end, that made all the difference.